in a way that you could understand. It's like a first card versus a rookie card.
Well, let's see what Kyle Draper thinks. Drapes, how are you today?
What's up, fellas? I'm a little tired, but I'm all good. How you guys doing?
Good. I need you to set the record straight here. This is something that happened on our show. I wasn't here, but I believe you were. Everyone's crazy about Daeqwon Plowden. And Alan Stiles is getting credit for being the first to have done an interview with Daeqwon Plowden. But I think you and Jay did one last summer, didn't you?
No, we did. I do believe we did.
Yes.
Because he's from Philly, and we talked about that. He's right around the corner from me.
Yeah.
And, that's my guy. Come on, man. Come on, Alan. You know what? Don't get me started on Alan Stiles. He's been stealing a lot of my material lately, and I'm gonna have to. I might have to send him an invoice or a cease and desist order or something.
Drapes, first of all, let's not do that, because you can't send me anything when you do not respond to my text. I reach out, hey Drapes, how's it going? I know you running around. You're my mentor. That's what you said when you gave that great soliloquy.
Yeah.
When you said, hey, I'm moving on. I was watching it live. I said, Drapes, that was so awesome. That was great. Still haven't responded. So I'm gonna take whatever I need to until you remember you got my dang number. How about that?
All I'm gonna say, Alan, is they got therapy for things like that, big fella. That was 6 months ago. Are you still hanging on to that?
I'm still hanging on.
I've never saved your number, so
see, man,
random number, and I
that's
thought it
crazy.
was one of them spam calls or something like that.
No, that's crazy. I said, hey, Drapes, it's Alan.
He knows a lot of people.
I love you, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Drapes knows a lot of people.
I know, Drapes. I know. Drapes, you do like what you're seeing from Daeqwon Plowden. Is it, I don't want to say confusing at all, because it's funny in different sports what your prime years are. Now, Daequan's 27, and I think last night some Kings fans were maybe a bit confused because you got Precious, who's 26, and Plowden, who's 27, when they're looking at the future. What do you think about Daeqwon Plowden and where he, I guess, could fit on this Kings team the next couple years or so?
No, you said it, man. I think he could be a piece the next, 3 to 5 years. You talk about a player's prime. The thing about today's NBA, your prime is longer than it used to be. Mm-hmm. Your prime used to be 28 to 32, 33. Now it's 24 to 32. And so Daequan still got about a good 4 or 5 years in his prime, and he doesn't have a whole lot of miles on his tires. And one thing, going back to Summer League, Doug Christie's always been high on this guy. I remember sitting there with him, and I believe I came on the show, Whitey, and talked about it. Like he said, that guy right there, I'm going to have to offer him a contract. Mm-hmm. And so this is before a two-way deal or anything like that. And the thing I love about Daeqwon Plowden and calling his games here recently, he's stepping up in the fourth quarter. You know what I mean? He had, 11 in the fourth quarter to lead the Kings last night. A few games ago out there in Memphis, he had 10 in the fourth quarter, and he's competing defensively. And so, I think Kings fans and NBA fans, we're so, enamored with the unknown draft picks. You know what I mean? Like the 19-year-olds, the 18, the 20-year-olds. Like this guy, to me, is an NBA player, and why not? If you're Sacramento, you've had success finding some undrafted players, some diamonds in the rough, if you will. Why not want to hang on to one of them for a chance? You know what I mean? Yep. So I like what I'm seeing from Daeqwon.
You know what I like, Drapes, and you've been doing a great job, obviously, on the telecast. We appreciate that. I know you're really just obviously more concerned with the play-by-play, but watching the games on NBC Sports California, not enough graphics. If you guys could add some more sprite scoreboard, splashboard, and the names of the players underneath them in a circle when they're dribbling up the floor, if we could add a little more of that, Drapes, I think that'd go a long ways. Can you do something about that?
I will say this. When I do the play-by-play, because the nature of things, I actually can't see the graphics. I can't see all the, the names and things like that. And, NBC, obviously, I got some loyalties there. They're my employer and everything. But why we're trying to do too much now. I think we're trying to reinvent the wheel. Nobody was saying, sitting at home, oh man, I wish I knew that was Daeqwon Plowden standing over there in the corner. Like, can you show me that? And so it's just like, you got some guys in offices with some computers and some apps that could do funky things. And I'm not a fan. I did watch it during the one game I did pre and post the other day, the Memphis game, as a matter of fact. And they're trying out some new things, but I'm old school, man. I don't need to see it. If I'm watching, I know who has the ball.
Right.
I know when DeMar DeRozan is dribbling the back. I don't need that. So that's just my opinion.
Good answer. Yeah. Bless you for going there. Thank you.
You went there. I had to go there when you went there. Thanks.
Drapes, another guy that a lot of people are excited about, and I mentioned it in my first question, Precious Achiuwa. What do you make of what Precious is doing? Career night for him last night. There's some naysayers out there that are looking at the Kings and maybe saying, hey, are they getting everybody's best shot? Of course, doing it against a Mavericks team, or Najee Marshall looked like LeBron last night as well. But do you think when we have a conversation about bringing Precious back, do you think he's done enough to where he could have some choices this offseason? Or do you feel as if it's probably a situation where the Kings will have the upper hand if they want him, and, other teams or a number of teams being after him would be a bit surprising?
No, I think he'll actually have some choices, Alan. I think, what he's shown us here in Sacramento sort of reminded people. I mean, let's not forget, this guy was a McDonald's All-American. Played the 1 year at Memphis, came in and, had an actually solid start to his career. When you look at some of his numbers and, the second year averaged 9 points, third year averaged 9 points, and then all of a sudden fell into a tough situation. Toronto gave up on him. And so I like Precious Achiuwa. And the thing is, and I don't think we knew this, and I think it's been a bonus for us this season, he's getting after it defensively. He's being asked to guard, Kevin Durant, which nobody can do. We know that. But we see him guarding some of the best players in the league. And when I talked to him about that, I'm like, dude, Doug is throwing you into the fire against some of the best players. He said, I actually love that because that gets me engaged in the game, locked in right from the jump. And then his basketball IQ has been pretty good as well in terms of how to play off DeMar, how to play off Russ, how to play in this system. And so I'm with you, man. I would hate to lose Precious. Scott Perry has said, this is an evaluation season. He's evaluating everyone. Well, Precious Achiuwa is one of the top 3 or 4 finds, bright spots in this season, I think, so far.
Mm-hmm. Kyle Draper with us. Tell us about Devin Carter. Obviously not shooting the ball well. That jump shot, I remember you and I doing our shows out at the arena, and we'd see him warming up, and he'd take that moon jump shot from 30 feet. It's not there right now. But other than that, if he can figure that out, get allowed to figure that out, he's doing some nice things right now, isn't he, other than the jump shot?
Yeah. And when I watch Devin Carter play, let's start on the offensive side of the ball. The knock on him early in his career has been, all right, he's over-penetrating. He's penetrating and not looking to pass. He's only singularly focused on scoring. Now I'm starting to see him mix in the pass. To your point about the three-point shot, I know he's been working with Jimmy Alapag. One thing, the assistant coach, and one thing Jimmy told him is, dude, you don't have to hesitate or second-guess yourself on that three-point shot. And they went over some film. People are not closing out on him tight. They're closing out on him short. And so he has to be ready to pull that. And so it's not falling as of yet. But, one thing we know about Devin, at least by the way he carries himself, he's full of swag. He's full of confidence. And so he just needs to get more reps. And we saw it last night getting the start. It's crazy to think, though, guys. Here we are, his second year. Obviously, he missed half of his first year. But it's crazy to think he's a lottery pick and has only made the second start of his career last night. Like, when you look at the way the season has gone, how it ended last season, you would have thought this guy would have been given, a little bit more opportunity to show what he can do. Maybe this last 21 games or so will show it. And then defensively, one thing about Devin that the coaches are trying to tell him is, dude, you could still impact the game defensively. And I thought we saw that last night, fellas. I thought some of his pressure, he had some steals last night. The offense, Doug talks about it all the time. Shots will make or miss. What travels is defense and effort and hustle, and that's what he can do. I hope we're not trying to pigeonhole him into being a point guard because, as we all know, he's just a ball player. He's just a guard that can do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and to your point, he did have 5 assists last night. So, yeah, he's definitely looking to share a little bit more. Yeah, something Allen should try when he plays.
Well, no, we're going to talk. Don't get me started on that one, Whitey. Drapes, Keegan Murray unfortunately goes down with an ankle. It's just been a season riddled with injuries for him. Whitey and I were going back and forth on when he is ready to go. Could be, 15 games left, maybe 20, whatever it is. Drapes, I'm of the mindset at this point, sometimes it's just not your day or not your season. I would probably just tell him to chill and get ready for next season. Whitey says if you're healthy, get back on the court. Well, where do you stand with the Keegan Murray conversation?
Yeah, that might be one of those things I leave up to Keegan, to be honest with you, and see how he feels. And, maybe he wants to finish the season strong, get an early start on the off season. It's kind of been a lost season for him. Doug talked about it yesterday, that he's only had 40 days of basketball, whether it's practice or games, this entire season. We're talking, 150, 180 days in a season, and he's only, participated in 40 of them. I'll probably leave it up to Keegan, to be honest with you. Maybe give him 10 games. He's out for the next 2 weeks or will be reevaluated. So you're talking mid-March. Now we're looking at to late March. And so by that point, you got, 3 weeks left? Maybe you shut him down. But I might defer to Keegan on this one.
Mm-hmm. Tell us, Drapes, about the two new guys. I know it's a very tough situation, especially for Killian Hayes on a 10-day. How difficult is it for PBJ and Killian Hayes to come in and make an impression? And have you seen any glimpses of anything? Is there still hope for them to, before the 10 days expires for Killian, that he can still show, hey, I can still play at this level?
Yeah, when you look at Killian Hayes, that 10 days is coming up pretty soon. I think only, 2 more days, 2 more games, left for him to prove what he can do. The thing about him is we look at the numbers from the G League and how he lit it up, but then on the big stage, the shot isn't falling. And so it's definitely hard to come in. I think, with Russell Westbrook out, with his thigh contusion yesterday, that gave him some more minutes. I wouldn't be surprised to see Killian Hayes get, another 20 minutes or so Sunday against the Lakers. I mean, this dude was the former number 7 overall pick. I do like his ability to run the team. You talk about assists. He had a nice assist game, I think it was last night. Mm-hmm. And so his shot just isn't falling. But I just don't think he looks comfortable as of yet. That's hard, and that's one of the things, as Doug Christie during pregame yesterday, is, it's late in the season, and you're asking these guys to come in. How tough is it for them? And it's no doubt difficult. But the thing about Killian Hayes and Patrick Baldwin, they're not only auditioning for Sacramento, they're auditioning for all the other 29 teams in the league as well. And so with Killian, it may not work here, but if you have a good showing, maybe somebody else in the offseason will pick you up. Regarding Patrick Baldwin Jr., I mean, he's listed as 7 feet, guys. A 7-foot guy that supposedly can shoot. We just haven't seen enough of him yet. And I'd like to see him, get 25, 30 minutes, get up some shots. I know he's on a 2-way deal, but it expires after the season. So this last 21 games for him, huge in terms of evaluating what he can do. And so, but it's hard right now because think about it. They're not the only young players trying to make their mark. You got Plowden trying to do his thing, Carter, Max Raynaud, Neek Clifford. You got a roster full of young players trying to make their mark and show Scott Perry something. So it's almost like Summer League, right, where it's kind of hard to really showcase your what you can do in a system, while also it looks like the guys are trying to win games too. So I think it's tough for them.
Drapes, you've been on record talking about the professionalism from DeMar and Russell Westbrook. The buyout conversation essentially ends for us today because the deadline is Sunday night unless something changes. It seems like those guys are going to be with the team for the rest of the season. Are you surprised at all at how all of this played out, or did you feel as if it made sense just throughout the season, you being kind of close-knit to the group? Did it seem as if the vets, if you want to call them that, DeMar and Westbrook, were maybe going to stick it out and enjoy what they're doing with the Kings as those kind of elder statesmen?
No, I think let's start with DeMar. I think, he wants to play all 82. He started every single game and played every single game. And, they're true professionals, true vets. DeMar's not going to make waves or anything like that. It's a tough situation that he's in. But you also got to remember, these are two L.A. guys. They're close to home as well. Even if they are getting bought out, what if, let's say OKC or somebody, do they want to go, and they have young children, I might add, they got young kids too. And so I think at this stage of their careers, they understand, being available as a parent. That's one of the reasons why, Russ wanted to come back here to the West Coast, why he played with the Clippers, the Lakers, and now the Sacramento Kings. And so, am I surprised? No, because I don't think even in Clipperland and Denver, I think Russ gets a bad rap publicly. When I watch him privately working with the young guys, I think he's at this stage. Hey, man, he's got the green light. He's got the keys to the team. He can mentor these young guys. Sure, everybody wants to play for a championship, but Russ has a pretty good in terms of playing minutes. DeMar, same way, playing minutes at this stage of their career.
Mm-hmm. Before we let you go, Drapes, what do you have for us from your road trip that you can share? I know Jay was going to ask that about Drapes' travels.
I tell you what, boys, I tell you what, I was in Austin, Texas. And hey, Austin is a slept on. Hey, if you ain't been to Austin, Texas, and haven't hit up 6th Street, go check it out. And then I was in Houston, staying at the Post Oak Hotel. Beautiful. Had a great time. And then Dallas is a great city as well. A new appreciation for Texas. I will say this, though. Being in Texas illustrates to me just what kind of bubble we live here in California. Mm-hmm. It's full on political season down there in Texas. I think they have primaries this week or something like that are coming up. And the number of political ads, dude, I was like, oh my gosh, I had to get away from that. I'm trying to focus on the game, the beautiful weather, the beautiful people, and I'm being hit over the head with political ads. They are full blown into politics. We kind of live in a bubble up here in Northern California.
Well, when are you going to run for something?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got too much stuff in my past, man. The way they digging things up nowadays, man, please. Yeah. I would love to, man. My heart is always in the right place, Whitey. But I will say I got some things coming up in the works, man. I'm excited about, and told Jay about a little something coming up. And so your boy will be out there a little more in the public eye here these next few weeks.
All right. We look forward to that. Thanks, Drapes. We appreciate it. Are you on the call Sunday?
Pre and post Sunday and Tuesday, and then on the call Thursday.
All right, we'll be watching. Thank you. Have a good weekend. Right, we appreciate it.
Talk to y'all soon.
Yeah, thanks, Drapes.
Kyle Draper.
Great stuff from Drapes.